Okay, welcome back social media marketing students to, I think this is our 6th video now. Today we're going to dive into Audience Insights, which is a really powerful tool for helping craft Facebook ad audiences. In our ad set video, we kind of went over the beginnings of crafting audiences, and we'll go into the audience creation tool later, which is a separate tool, but today we're going to go into Audience Insights, which really helps the most with saved audiences. Just for a little flashback, remember there's 3 types of Facebook ad audiences: custom, lookalike, and saved. A saved audience is one that we create from scratch in the ad set interface, one that currently doesn't exist and currently has no audience to feed off of. Now, in order to properly create and target that saved audience at the best of our ability, a really powerful tool that Facebook allows us to use is called Audience Insights, which is right here. So you can see we're Business Manager home, right? You're going to go up here to the menu. It's right here in the top right left-hand corner, Audience Insights. Click on it, and it brings you right into the tool. So the first thing it's going to do is it'll pop up with this Choose an Audience to Start window. Always start with everyone on Facebook, unless your page is big enough to where this matters. But let's just start with everyone on Facebook to start. What Audience Insights allows you to do is really dive into the statistics behind certain interests, demographics, and really understand, because in the ad set interface, which we looked at before, you can obviously select demographics, you can select interests, and it'll show you the amount that it has there. But that doesn't really give you a level of depth that you could have that this tool does, right? So as you can see, obviously we have United States as our location. We can choose a region or city within there. The audience size adjusts here. This is because we started people on Facebook. When you're creating something here, you can save it, create an ad with it, and you can take a tour. Age and gender is listed here. I mean, there's just different demographics you can look at. So but over here is where you change your preferences. So just for the sake of testing, let's start out with, I don't know, let's say New York for our location, right? New York. You know what? Let's do New York City. That's a pretty good size. So right off the bat, just New York City, Facebook automatically adjusts. Our audience is now 6 to 7 million people, a little over half of which are women, most of which are 25 to 34, and 48% are men. 32% of those are 25 to 34, right? What's interesting is Facebook will tell you, so for example, for gender, it says 55% of all Facebook users are women versus 45% of all Facebook users are men, and then it adjusts for whatever we've entered here. So that's a cool distinction to make. And then, just based on the location we've put in, it adjusts relationship status, education level, job title, right? It automatically adjusts. So, okay, now we have a location. Let's pick an age and gender. So let's say ages 18 to, let's say 40. And I don't even know what we're selling yet. So and again, you can see how it adjusts right there. Obviously, since we've taken out the targeting for older ages, it eliminates right there. Let's say they're interested in, I don't know, let's say they're fitness and wellness. This is a good one. Let's say they're interested in running. Running, there we go. Okay. Now we can see that 56% of the women in our target are 25 to 34, as opposed to 23% and 22%. It adjusts for men, right? Relationship status amongst runners, education level amongst runners. Now these are useful, but the most useful thing that this gives us is what's called page likes. This is a big deal. Page likes. So let's say, for example, I'm trying to create a saved audience, right, in Facebook Ads Manager, and I'm trying to sell running shoes or running related items or clothing to individuals ages 18 to 40 living in New York City. The best way to really pinpoint this audience using this tool is through what's called page likes. Facebook will tell you what pages or types of pages people who are 18 to 34 in New York who like running like. And sometimes, in many cases, you can actually put those as targets in Facebook Ads Manager. So they like events, New York City concerts and events. They like these TV channels. They like this clothing store. They like this particular theme park. Things along those lines. It shows relevance based on Facebook page likes. So this is a 381x affinity to this page, Secret NYC, right? And you can almost reverse engineer this targeting by going back into these pages to check them out. So for example, let's go look at like Secret NYC. I've never been here before. Let's check it out. So Secret NYC appears to be, I want to say it's fashion, but I don't, Maybe we can look at the About section just so we can get a better view of this. Oh, okay. So it's just a page about New York City. That makes total sense, right? So I mean, it's just a page about New York, things to do in New York City, nightlife, events, food. Over half a million people follow it, so obviously it's pretty popular. And so you can kind of start to see how you can really get inside the mind of the consumer by understanding what they're interested in using this Audience Insights tool. That's a big deal, right? That's one page view. Let's look at another one, right? We have TV channels. Let's look at this clothing store, Uniqlo USA, right? Almost 1 million people follow this. I don't know if they're headquartered in New York or not, but obviously it's a clothing brand. I would say it's just casual wear, upscale casual wear clothing brand. So obviously they're interested in this as well. And so you can use that in your targeting, right? Interested in men's fashion, women's fashion, or just this page. Honestly, this page might be big enough to where you can actually target this interest. I don't know. It depends. It says they have to be of a certain size. But regardless, understanding how this interplays is key. And then obviously you can add more interest, right? So let's do running and then interested in, let's say, beverages. Let's say energy drinks. I don't know how, running energy. And you can see how the pages adjust. Haven't changed very much. We still have Uniqlo, NYC, concerts and events. This is still the #1 page based on those interests. And you can see the affinity. Your best bet would be using this one, obviously. The affinity is through the roof. And so just play with it. What if we just did women, for example? How does that change it? Really stays the same. Well, no, it doesn't. It switches completely. So for just a women interested in running and energy drinks in this age bracket living in New York City, their top page likes are the New York City Department of Education. It totally beats out this events thing, right? Uniqlo drops down 2 points or 2 levels. Six Flags drops down another 2. And then for page likes, the New York City Department of Education is on top, which tells you they're interested in public education. Even if you can't target this particular page, right? Perhaps you can't. The affinity is 517x, which is really, really good, meaning they're interested in public education. They might be teachers, for example. It just depends. And then obviously we have location as well. It breaks it down by specific places in New York, right? Within New York City, the different boroughs and such. I don't know how familiar you guys are with New York City, but regardless. And this is frequency of activities, the device users, which you can use in targeting, like which devices do I target to run the ads on. I always recommend to run them on all devices, but if you find a targeted audience and the data shows that they're best on mobile, that might be the best place to go. Think about a city, right? People are always on their phones, mobile. A big part of Facebook ads, the biggest part is really audiences and interests, because that's what separates Facebook and social media marketing from intent-based marketing or Google or search, right? Understanding what's going on in their head, both on a marketing level and on a human level, really. Like, think about yourself and what you would do sometimes. You may not be a runner and drink energy drinks and be a woman, 18 to 40, in New York, but think about what you would do. Friends you might have that are familiar. This, as a marketer, this is what we do. We get inside people's heads. That's the whole point. We need to get inside the mind of the consumer the best that we can, so that we can direct the best targeted message to them, right? So let's go back in demographics again. Obviously, we've taken men out, so that just goes away. Within our age bracket, most of which are 25 to 34, most of them are single. Married drops down significantly. The vast majority are in college. Highest education level is college. And you can tell what kind of jobs they have. 67% of them are in the arts, entertainment, sports, and media sector. This can definitely be targeted, although I would target this too as well. Interesting, though, that whereas 17% is in the education industry, and the top page like was Department of Education. That's interesting. Sales. This is quite interesting. Mostly women involved in sales has the highest percentage here. Again, Finding out how to use this data is important. Then you have connections. You can do people connected to your pages that you manage, people not connected to pages that you manage, and then there's different life segments. You can it's almost kind of a copy of the ad set interface, but it gives you a lot more data to look at. This is the lifeblood of the saved audience. When you're trying to create an audience from scratch, you go here. This is your laboratory. Your location, your interest, figure out what they like, what they're interested in. Once you reverse engineer these interests to fit a target model for a consumer type, you're good to go. You have an audience to run. There you go. It's not that hard to create the good. People always go on the internet trying to sell, oh, we have the best audiences, we do something that you can't. And that's just not true. This is how they do it. They get in here, they test, they play with it, they figure it out, they run ads, they reboot, they retool, they retest, they run again. That's how it works. So, this has been an introduction to Audience Insights. Again, we'll go into audiences and how to create audiences, custom and lookalikes more specifically, because we just went over saved in another video. But for now, really get into this Audience Insights tool. This is a big deal, a huge deal, because this is what gives the power to businesses that don't have custom or lookalike audiences. Like, how do you create a saved audience and really make it work to the best of your ability? Because a saved audience is almost always cold. It's a cold audience. Oh, that reminds me, temperature traffic. Got to do that video. But a saved audience is always more difficult to convert because we're going off of nothing. We don't have website traffic to target off of. We don't have Instagram followers. We don't have an email list. We don't have anything. We're going blind. And so Audience Insights helps us minimize as much blindness as humanly possible when creating an audience from scratch on Facebook. Anyways, hope you guys have enjoyed this video. We'll get into audiences next time. And yeah, play around with this, get in there, and we'll catch you in the next one. Thank you.